All right, are we ready?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light, I walk through the darkest hours of night, and I call my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me.
I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light, I walk through the darkest hours of night, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light, I walk in the service, I'm doing what's right, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light, I walk in the knowledge that we'll be alright, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me.
I was spiraling down in the hopelessness of homelessness. The tragic filled me all around with misery. And then I came to Urban Voices Project. They gave me the magic to slay my tragic. And they are the river that takes me to go where I need to be delivered. They gave me my soul, and I feel whole. Thank you, Urban Voices Project.
Urban Voices Project. Healing urban voices, empowering urban voices, making space for marginalized urban voices. And we want your voice to join us.
I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light, I walk with my neighbors to fight the good fight, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 6th episode of the Disastershock Arts and Recovery team. My name is Dr. Reggie Matthew, and I'm honored to welcome you all to the 6th episode of this series. What I'm going to do is to introduce the Disastershock community, explain the context of the expressive arts, and then introduce our esteemed guests. The Disastershock Global Response Team is an international humanitarian relief organization dedicated to providing psychological first aid resources to children and families affected by disaster-related stress. We are an interdisciplinary team, and our materials have been translated to over 20 languages. The Disastershock Global Response Team is a special interest group of the Oxford Symposium in School-Based Family Counseling, which is sponsored by the Institute for School-Based Family Counseling. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Reggie Matthew. I'm an expressive arts advocate and educator. The Disastershock Arts and Recovery Team, Reporter's Notebook, is an interview series exploring the voices of innovative expressive arts advocates speaking to the power of the arts in healing the mind, body, and spirit in trauma recovery and the restorative impact of community-based arts practices. Kate, I'd like to take a moment and provide the context for the expressive arts. The expressive arts is the practice of cultivating personal artistry as an inner resource through expressive approaches, dance, music, writing, drama, and art. a tool of intermodal experiential processing for problem solving, self-expansion, and personal growth. What we want the audience to know is that inner artistry is not only for performance. Inner artistry is a sensibility we can bring to daily life. Intermodal processing, the capacity to move between imagery, story, movement, and music, is a whole brain approach, offering us to engage with all parts of ourselves, taking a multi-sensory take on our inner journey and metabolizing the complexity of our lives and reimagining new possibilities and opening pathways of hope. I'm honored to introduce today our esteemed guest, Kate Richards-Geller. Kate Richards-Geller is a singer-songwriter, vocal improviser. She received an MA in music therapy from NYU in 1997 and maintains a national board certification and New York State license. She has worked in medical settings, schools, community centers, providing clinical services to individuals and groups of all ages, with the goal of improving quality of life through live, interactive music making. Her vocal improv approach, Sing for Yourself, demonstrates how a regular singing practice can create meaningful and lasting change in individuals and communities. Currently in Los Angeles, Kate serves as the executive director at Urban Voices Project, a nonprofit group singing as a cultural community approach to addressing homelessness. She is the founder of Inspired Music Play, a collective of early childhood music specialists. She serves on the board of the National Alliance for Music in Vulnerable Communities and regularly participates in gatherings of Arts and Homelessness International. Kate Richards-Geller is a music therapist and vocal improviser who is well known for her keen listening, creating safety in a group, facilitating freedom within structure, and supporting personal expression. The core of her work engages people in interactive singing as a bridge to self-expression, communication, and community building. Welcome, Kate. It's an absolute honor to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be part of this project.
Kate, to begin, I want to begin with the words of the great Mahalia Jackson, who said, "Without a song, each day would be a century." A song can hold the weight of the world. A song can have the ability to translate language and connect people across generations. Songs can take us on a journey and offer us soul-settling metaphors. As a singer, songwriter, music therapist, and music educator, what have you learned about the creative power and possibility of the art form of song?
It's a really powerful and important question, and one that I have been thinking about a lot as I've been preparing for this conversation. I think primarily the word connection, which you mentioned earlier, I think this connection is really the through line for all of the work that I have done, all of the play that I have engaged in, all of the art making. What has revealed to me is the immediate nature of music and the arts to invite a connection between people, between emotions, between bodies, between souls and spirits, that it bypasses some of the boundaries or barriers that we put up, and often in a very positive and generative way. And also knowing that has informed us to be mindful of where people need boundaries, where people need their defenses. And so the early work in the hospital really taught me that. When is music meant to connect us through the things that separate us? And when is it most useful to surround us and support all those things that are helping us survive, including defenses, including boundaries? And that's why music, of all of the arts, music was the choice for me, because it allows us to engage in all aspects of our humanity, as well as those that help us to transcend our day-to-day lives. So that and we know this, right? We'll talk about this later, I'm sure, but we know when we engage in music fully that most all of the brain becomes active. And in this way, we have this opportunity to connect with each other. And then the work that I have done in many different settings with many different people has shown me that music liberates us. Singing together, especially improvising together, liberates us. And it also, in the realm of personal expression and creative expression, I feel that it has an opportunity for us to clarify things, to be more clear about what matters to us and what it is that we want to share with others.
Thank you, Kate. Along that idea of facilitating connection, you've often said in your lectures that the voice is the first instrument, and that the spirit of the voice goes back before language, and that it was our first way of communicating with nature and each other. So that the voice is not separate from who we are because it's housed in the body. Can you say more about that?
As the primary instrument in all of our engagement. It can be in music therapy, it can be in singing and songwriting, it can be in parenting, it can be in soothing, it can be in stimulating, but it's the primary instrument. It lives in the body. It's what we carry with us everywhere. And it's the real life lesson of this, I think, was became clear to me when I did work in hospitals, and realizing that there could be a moment, a cry of a child in a pediatric unit. When I would perceive this, when I would receive this cry as music, then my immediate response was to sing back, to call back. And I learned that without a guitar, without a piano, without any other instruments, I had everything that I needed to respond to that child's calling out. And more, I learned how to perceive, to integrate the sounds in the environment.
Along that idea, the voice as an instrument inherently invites integration. And I'm thinking of the fragmenting times we're living in.
Yes.
To engage with the instrument of the voice requires integration of the mind, the body, the breath, the spirit. Can you talk about the integrative aspect of the voice?
I was thinking, even just as I was preparing, for our conversation today, I found myself going down to the ground and rolling around, making sound, going back to the early developmental pieces of how the voice becomes embodied. And this is a lot of the work of Lisa Sokoloff and embodied voice work. And I learned this really tremendous warm-up process with her of how we embody the voice from the moment that first sound happens and then as the body grows. And so this was the original understanding of integration, of vocal work, of voice, of the potential of the voice in the body, was with her work. And then I have had this really stunning sequence sequence is not the word perhaps, but individual teachers who have allowed me to explore this integration of voice, mind, body, spirit. So Sylvia Nakash, also a Vox Mundi project, she helped to understand when we're doing these calls out to nature and the calls come back, and we have this understanding of that we are part of a larger piece. This is all essential to our understanding of and healing of trauma in our world. And then Diane Austin, with the work that she has done in the psychological aspects of the voice. So we can also go deeper into our own process of becoming a person, an individual, and see how singing can connect us to ourselves, to our stories, and move forward from places that we have been stuck. So I wanted to just bring up those three of my teachers as part of my understanding of this integration of mind, body, spirit, and how that impacts the potential that we have in relationship and in community.
So this profound journey of study of the voice has brought you to become the executive director of Urban Voices Project. And I'd like to tell the audience a little bit about Urban Voices Project. Urban Voices Project is an initiative that utilizes music and community singing to promote wellness and self-expression, particularly in Skid Row and other areas of Los Angeles. It aims to bring social gaps and connects individuals with necessary services. The idea is to amplifying artistic expression is a healing power with music to improve well-being, strengthen social networks, and inspire individuals marginalized by homelessness to be their own best advocates. Before we talk about the organization and the unique offerings, I'd love to hear about the vision and the heart of these two amazing co-founders, Christopher Mack and also Liab Sofer, who I know had time with the virtual choir with Eric Whitaker, and then your partnership with them.
They, Liav was and is a teaching artist at Colburn Music School in Los Angeles. And Christopher Mack is a community outreach coordinator for Wesley Health Center. So it was the connection between the music school and the health clinic that was the origin story of Urban Voices Project. What would happen if we brought music down into Skid Row, which is the neighborhood in which people, too many people are living in the condition of homelessness. So it was really just 10 years ago this week that they created their first meeting. They just basically walked around in the neighborhood and said, hey, do you like to sing? Do you want to come in and sing with us? And they created an environment within the health clinic of singing songs together. And this began right away to prove the healing power of music for people who are perhaps living in the worst moment of their lives. They know certain songs like Lean on Me or Stand by Me. And these songs, Amazing Grace, these songs right away made a connection, an opening, a moment of hope and joy. And they were able to sing and play together for this period of time. And everything else sort of falls away for a moment. And what I've observed is that people within the music making, within this connection, people remember who they are. And then are witnessed as such. And it is a transcending moment that then once that occurs, there tends to be some more receptivity to other services that are basic needs that people have, in that moment. But because they've made this connection through the music and they're in a health clinic, then they're more likely to be open to connecting with the services that the community clinic offers. So this was the premise, and it remains the premise.
Right, how those moments of music making, how it illuminates a life.
It does, exactly. It illuminates a life. It's beautifully said. Mm-hmm. And And then from there, what the other thing that happened just naturally, so the music making in and of itself, and what we know about music making, right? There's the release of feel-good hormones. There's all sorts of things that just naturally happen in the music for many different reasons. And then from there, meeting regularly every week, and now more than once a week for 10 years, has developed a community of individuals who support each other. It's stunning.
The program offerings at Urban Voices Project is amazing. The once a month open mic, neighborhood sing, music education lab, music wellness lab, a performance ensemble, Buckfest, family sing. So how did these offerings evolve over the past 10 years?
Well, it started out with this just gathering of people and singing. And after a couple of months, the health clinic, Wesley Health Clinic, had a benefit dinner that they used to have every year. And so they invited this group of singers to come and perform. So that's how it became a performing ensemble. And then that led to then more outreach in the community. Whenever there was a festival, the choir was invited to sing. And then more healthcare clinics saw the value and the joy and the connection that was made among the staff when they saw their patients singing and performing like this, so that whenever they would have a conference, they would invite the choir to sing. So the choir, what became the choir, which started out as a singing workshop, basically, or a community jam, the performance ensemble became the face of Urban Voices Project. But what happened in the workshops, the weekly workshops, the community jams, this is the heart. This is the heart of the program, because this is where people come in and leave everything at the door and engage in this interactive music experience. As people were more regular in their attendance and the choir was growing, they revealed that many of them had lots of music experience before. They had been educators, they had been trained musicians, and they wanted to continue in their education. So then Leov started to offer music education classes, music theory, reading music. And because we're Skid Row, perhaps in Los Angeles, the level of musicianship and experience varied so much. We had people that were in attendance who were, just really had an entire career in music. And they were using their experience here in this community to return to that, remember that, nurture that, and then become part of the experience of sharing knowledge and professional development with each other. It was really stunning, and continues to be. So that music education continues with also with performance technique and vocal technique. And then when I came along, I was bringing in my music therapy experience, although I'm not doing music therapy with this community. I'm very specifically clear about that. But the therapeutic aspects of music and music making and singing in particular, I have a lot to bring to the table for that. So I have created opportunities for people to look not just at music as an education, but music as an experience, an opportunity for wellness, an opportunity to intentionally take control of circumstances that may feel out of control, pain, anxiety, and by utilizing the tools that we have in music, they watch and experience for themselves how music can change the mind and the body. So then they participate in their own healing. They participated in finding the ways to close the circles that trauma interrupted. So it's really quite stunning how that goes. Busk Fest is that open mic, open air experience that happens once a month. This started because we noticed that many people were coming into the clinic to sing, but there were many who were not. And so our thought was, okay, we'll take this then and bring it out to the sidewalk, to the place where the people are, and set it up there and offer individuals an opportunity to come and sing or spoken word or express themselves in whatever way. And this Busk Fest now has evolved into an annual music festival where we now have pop-up stages in Skid Row and then in our neighboring I want to say villages, but just our neighbors, communities around Skid Row. So 5 or 7 different stages with the same open mic, open air welcome is happening now once a year. Most of the people that we know, that we meet, and I'm sure this is true in every community that experiences disaster, people know what they need. They know what matters most to them. And what the arts teach us is how to approach, how to connect, and how to communicate in this way so that we learn what is really needed, what matters most, and then we find ways to provide that.
Thank you, Kate. This brings me to the subject of some of your previous academic work and research has been on the topic of the voice of pain. I want to go back to how we began this interview, which is a clip from the choir, Urban Voices Project choir singing, and they were singing Walk With Me by Maggie Wheeler. And I want to read a lyric. I walk in the spirit, I walk in the night. I walk through the darkest powers of night, and I call on my ancestors to my left and to my right to walk with me. And reviewing your academic work and hearing these lyrics has made me think often, and I was really looking forward to asking you this question about the soul's cry. And when that particular singer and vocalist was singing, you could hear where it was coming from and the rising and the falling of the tone. That song and the voice can capture that the depth and the complexity of pain in a way that other art forms can't. So based on your work about the voice of pain, can you say something about that?
Yeah. There's something, I guess what I'd like to say first is that all the work that I've done to this moment has taught me to trust the music. And when I don't know what to do, when we don't know what to do, when it's just too much, as you said, the fragmentation, there's so many things, then I have learned, and I'm so grateful for this, I've learned to trust the music. And this song in particular is such a powerful container for all the possible ways that one can experience it. And it came, Maggie Wheeler experienced this song, she said it came to her when she was walking a labyrinth. Music comes and into our mind, into our spirit, and if we can pause and listen to it and trust it, it's really quite amazing what opens up. So this song came to Maggie as she was walking in this labyrinth. And then she said she came out, went through the labyrinth, she came out of it, and she ran to her phone and sang it into her phone so that she could remember. And so glad that she did. And then she, on the website, you can hear her talk about this as well, but then it became a song that she needed to get through a series of experiences. And for each big experience that would happen, she would write another verse. And the song carried the weight, the pain, the uncertainty of all of those events, and gave context so that we could all share in that with her and relate to it from our own experiences that we've had. And so the song also has all the bones of a good, solid container. It has a rhythm that we can just rest and settle in and move with, right? It has a melody that repeats, is predictable, like good lullabies or good chants or good work songs have, right? So we don't have to think really while we're in it. We know what happens. We know what comes next. It has the symbolism. I walk in the spirit. I walk in the light. And then you can change the next one. The next line personalizes it and keeps the story going. I walk with the knowledge that we'll be all right. I walk with my neighbors to fight the good fight. There's so much in there that we can then use to carry us as a community through. And then walk with me, walk with me. So it can be, we can change, it's steady enough, right? That we can also change the dynamics of it. It can be loud or soft. It can be fast or slow. And right now we've been playing with slowing it down again. It can be fast or slow even within the, one iteration of it, right? So we started that recording with it being slow so that the emotions could just, and the spirit could just be expressed. And then it can pick up again so that others can join in and be feeling the strength of the structure of the music, the groundedness of it, the feet on the ground, while the spirit soars, and while our ability to connect with past, present, and future. Also, there's so many elements that make this song so powerful.
You say about that how song and vocalization can help us metabolize the unmetabolizable?
I think the more we learn about the impacts of music, not just on the brain, but on the whole body, it helps us to appreciate that the singing of the melody within the context of the rhythm, the areas of symbolic value to the lyrics and the imagery, the act of singing it out and expressing something deep within. All of these things are having a profound effect on the brain and all of the areas of the brain. And so then the impact on the body has what I think about as a balancing effect. So it's not so much that music is calming or music is stimulating. It's not just one thing, but maybe it's the way that it activates the vagus nerve. Maybe it's the way that so many different areas of the brain are active now and looking and searching and understanding, okay, there's some tension here that, that can be, some of it can be released. There's some discomfort here. What does this part of the body need? There's a wisdom inherent in the mind-body system of how can we reach a homeostasis. And I think for me, this has been over and over again the lesson. I don't know what it is that another mind and body system needs, but if we can create the environment in which the individual trusts the music and trusts the community, then their own mind-body system will do what it needs. And I've seen it so many times. And I think this refers back to what I was talking about before in terms of clarity and liberation.
Yeah, I hear you talking about the regulating functions of
Yeah.
song and engaging
Yes.
in terms of regulating the nervous system, calming, activating the relaxation response, centering someone. But I want to add one more question to this, is that I think you would probably appreciate this, is that there's an aliveness in a song. And
Yeah.
you know how many songs have survived time, have
Yes.
crossed cultures. There's this transpersonal aspect to songs. And can you tell me a little bit about the repertoire that has developed for Urban Voices Project, songs that these the vocalists go to for comfort, for joy, for aliveness, for play? Because I've come to think of songs as their own, as a character unto itself that changes and transmutes over time.
It's a beautiful question and an important one. And somehow, as you were talking just now, I was thinking again back to Mahalia Jackson. And what is that, right? What is that when she is able to carry the hope, the joy, the spirit of a song out from deep within her, out to the huge audiences that would come to hear. There's something that I can recreate in my imagination about the powerful impact of that and the life-changing aspect of that. So this is what we're going for in terms of choosing songs for Urban Voices Project. And the invitation for song suggestions is always, like all of the aspects of this organization, is put out to the whole community for people to come in with songs that are meaningful to them. And can we then make it, work into a choir piece, or if it doesn't have the kind of arrangement that we think will be perfect for that, then we use it in the music jams, in the community, in the neighborhood sing weekly workshops, in the music wellness workshops. We find the ways to incorporate all these songs into our many programs. And it's always about an emotional connection, something that is inspirational, something that can express, transfer a feeling of hope, of joy, of need, of longing to the audience. It's always about that kind of connection that can also lift us up.
Okay, this brings me to your own work, Sing for Yourself, which is very compelling. So I'd like to say something about it. That Sing for Yourself is a structured musical education program that methodologically covers various music elements, including tone production, pitch, harmony, scales, modes, rhythm, groove, interlocking parts, bass lines, percussion, solo performance, with a focus on developing deep practice in the area. The series emphasizes the importance of breath control, tone production, using singing techniques, along with recordings focusing on long tones, exploring physical sensations of improved vocal technique and musical expression. So I would first like to give the audience a very brief experience of an original piece of music and vocal work that you did. And the title of the song is called The Only Way That I Can Get Through It.
Breathe in, sing out. Breathe in, sing out. Breathe in, sing out. Again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Now as I sing, as I sing, as I sing, as I sing, is the only way that I can get through it. Now as I sing. One more time, the only way that I can get through it. Now as I sing, as I sing, as I sing, as I sing, is that the only way that I can get through it. Now as I sing.
Wow, Kate, that was fun to share that clip. The one thing that I find so compelling about your vocal methodology is you have somehow found a portal to vocal freedom. You know, when I hear your work, there's no head voice or chest somehow an invitation to this vocal fluidity, which is improvisation. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure, it brings back a little bit what I spoke about earlier about those first three teachers in my post-grad in independent study of the voice. Lisa Sokoloff, Diane Austin, and Sylvia Nakash. And when I met them and started to do this work, I started a weekly singing gathering and invited people to join me. And I wanted to find ways to practice these things that I was learning in my training and just focus on the music and learn how to work with the many beautiful tools that they offered. Later I worked with a partner, Silke Ulig, and we met together and led these weekly workshops, and then learned a lot about co-facilitation and how valuable that is, especially in a group setting. And so we would just use all these games and we would create our own, but it was this weekly practice of singing and playing. And after a while, I noticed that just the natural creative process occurred, which I was integrating all of these different mind, body, spirit activities, because I was listening to the music and I was observing and listening in the group of where people were going and what people were doing, where was their need for more space just to be in the music and not thinking about doing anything, and what do you do when the music sort of takes over and goes where it goes? What do you do as a facilitator? Learning all of those things by doing it, by making music together, really did take me to a place where I was freer, and I really was singing for myself. And in doing that and modeling that, I was creating an environment for others to also sing for yourself within the understanding that we're doing this together. And then I worked with Renee Manning, who is an incredible teacher at Brooklyn Conservatory of Music. She was at Brooklyn Conservatory of Music then, and she ran a gospel choir and some other really incredible classes. And with her background as a social worker, she modeled for me this very, very practical, community-based way of love and all that love can do through making music together. She has another school now, I think it's called Excelsior School. And then I also met Rhiannon of Rhiannon Music, who sang many years with Bobby McFerrin. And she has also an incredible teaching model. And so the idea that I was starting to not make up my own method and my own rules, but I was just listening and watching and seeing what was working, what people needed to feel a sense of freedom, a sense of safety, of a sense of trying out something that they'd never done before within the context of others doing the same thing. So this all just evolved into a real need on my part. Like I need to sing. I need to do this all the time. And as I do, I see what is more available to me in terms of being connected to my authentic self, which I can bring to the boardroom, which I can bring to the accounting challenges of running a nonprofit, which I can bring to overseeing a staff and creating meaningful, engaging programs for a community of people that are going through an incredible crisis. So the improvisation, the freedom that I've learned from the music, the depth of listening that music has taught me, community music has taught me, now plays out in all the areas of my life. I think that's the key that I wanted to say about that.
Well, I love that. I love your definition that vocal improvisation is being in the music.
Yeah.
And that's so meaningful to me, because when there aren't places where you can be present, or you can't be present in your own life for whatever adversity or circumstances going, I could imagine just having those few moments of ease and embodied presence is such a powerful portal.
And it's accessible. That's the thing about having the voice as the primary instrument. It's portable. It is always there. And when the voice is not feeling clear and strong, it's so important that we can pause and listen and even do a simple humming practice, or just some element of music. Focus on a rhythm that we hear in the environment and train with it. Just allowing the musical elements that are in the world around us all the time to allow us to ground and then express out.
I love the idea of sing for yourself as a practice. We know the significant neuroscience research talking about singing releases oxytocin and activates the relaxation response. And it also really fits with our expressive arts value of art as process and not product.
Yes.
Bringing that into your day for yourself, that is accessible and something that you can go throughout the day to be able to step into a space of freedom, even if it's for a few minutes.
Yeah, and there really is an integrative process to it. I can say something and it can be meaningful, and I can say it again and it could still be meaningful. But when it's sung, some other elements are in place that allow, like we were talking before, that allow for an integration, allow for a metabolization, allow for, again, I do think that the magic of it, much of it lies in the brain. When we begin to sing and bring the other elements of music in, more of the brain become active, and then that engages through the spinal cord and into the nervous system to what else is needed. That original idea about the voice and pain also comes from this understanding that music and pain follow the same neural pathways to the brain, and whichever is stronger wins. This is what science is telling us. And so if we can believe that, trust that, and make the music that is needed, that we can make, and make it louder than, or more stimulating, stronger than the stimulation from the pain, watch what happens. And now I've also been in situations in my own body of severe pain. And I'll always remember this moment when I was in a crisis, and I thought, like, wow, I used to try to sing with people that were going through this. I didn't realize what was actually happening. And yet, even in that moment and thinking about it, then I did turn to music, to long tones, to trying to find a rhythm in it, to trying to find some symbolic language that could just help me get through it. And So I do still believe in all these different aspects of music as being able to engage the mind, body, spirit in ways that allow us to transcend and really change the things that are, transform the things that are happening.
So my colleague on the Disastershock Arts and Recovery team, Bridget Steed, is an intermodal artist, a singer, and a therapist, and she was generous enough to come and partner with you to illustrate a voice work session for our audience. So I would like to go to that and then deconstruct it with you, if that's okay. So I want to introduce my colleague, Bridget Steed, a person-centered expressive arts therapist. Bridget is an expressive arts therapist and intermodal artist with a deep love of music, movement, theater, and visual art. She co-founded the Disastershock Arts and Recovery team in 2020. So let's go to the session.
Hi, Bridget.
Hi, Kate.
I was just going to ask you if you could tell me just a little bit about your journey with the voice.
Sure. Well, I've always loved to sing. So as a kid, there was a lot of music and song in my house. In my household with my parents, loved to sing. And I started musical theater at age 5. And I just knew like this feels really good. Like the sensation of sound felt really good to me. So I always sang, as I got older, I was in a bluegrass band in my 20s and 30s. And again, this is before I got into the expressive arts therapy. I just knew this felt good. Now as an adult, I know a bit more like why it feels good and what's happening, but it's still a part of my daily life. I love to sing. One other thing I'll say about the voice though, I'm finding that, I was always a good mimic. Like I can hear someone else sing and I can kind of sound like them. I think my journey now is what do I sound like? What does it feel like to sound like me? So that's kind of the next phase of my vocal journey, I guess, is like finding my voice. So that's kind of a overview of where I'm at.
And a lot of the work that I have done over these years in vocal improvisation has been finding my way of all the different sounds that exist within me and what is my sound.
Mm.
Yeah, so beautiful. I'm so glad to be on this journey with you.
too.
If you, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what to expect.
Okay.
We'll do a simple voice body warm up, just a very simple one, about using humming and using the imagination, and then we'll do some partner work. A lot of the teachers that I have worked with in theater and in music, in voice work, have used partner work, the ability to play with one other person, and what we can learn about each other and ourselves in that process. So we'll do a couple of exercises that I will call partner work. And then there's a chant that I wrote that I'll share with you, and we can explore a little bit what happens when we sing in a simple phrase over and over again. And then there's a real fun rhythmic pattern that I love to do at the end of a session. So we'll do that.
Okay, that sounds great.
So let's begin. My practice is I'm always carrying a little bit extra energy, so I'll just do little gentle shakes and bounces. And then there's 3 parts to this humming practice. The first is to exhale first, so that we have space for the inhale. Mm-hmm. The second is to use our imaginations, our imagination to be smelling the flowers. And this is one of these ways that the mind and the body work together. So I imagine I'm smelling the flowers, and my body naturally opens more deeply and widely to the breath. So I'm going to invite us to smell the flowers and really imagine that. And then we're going to play with 3 breaths, humming, just a simple humming, and focusing on the vibration of the voice inside the body. So
Okay.
simple like that.
Mm-hmm.
Exhale first, then use the imagination to smell the flowers, and then humming. All right,
Okay.
let's begin.
Okay.
When in doubt, breathe out. Smell the flowers. And hum. Smell the flowers. And hum. And one more. And taking a moment to notice what you notice. Three simple breaths, focusing on the vibration of the voice in the body. Noticing any changes that might have occurred in the physical body, in or around the physical body. Noticing the activity level in the mind. Noticing emotion. And noticing a sense of social connectedness between us. So this can be a simple reset, a simple, quick, accessible music meditation. And was really fun, even across the Zoom, to hear each other singing in harmony.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite things to notice, and this can be used as a group, in a group setting, to create a sound bath, just with our own bodies and voices, nothing else. And this wonderful thing about singing, which we will also apply to the next couple of things that we do in partner work, is that singing is this opportunity to be able to be expressing ourselves and also receiving the other. So we can sing and listen at the same time.
Right.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And the humming feels so good. The vibration just feels
Yeah.
feels really good. Yeah.
I think of it as a physical massage, internal massage, and one added element that one can do is you can also put the hands on the body, on the outside, in the front, in the back, the jaws, the sinuses, the head, and offer a simple massage also with your hands on the external massage, while at the same time as the internal massage. So partner work. Let's try this now. And now that we know that we can hear each other, it's wonderful, right? So the first one will be a simple game of holding a long tone, similar to what we just did with the humming. And one person will start in unison, and then one person can move in a scale, like sort of taking a steps, like da, 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 simple like that, and hearing the way that each step relates to the first tone that we started with, right? And so one will be holding that, and the other will step away, and then sliding back down, right? So I'll demonstrate again. We're going to step up and slide down. So let's just say the note that we choose, and we will choose our note. No, maybe that would be the note right now as an example. Oh, one of us will hold that. The other will go, oh.
Okay.
Now, I gave an example of a specific scale, but it doesn't matter what notes you sing at all. It just matters that we go up 5 steps and then slide back down until you find your way back to the drone, let's say. We'll call it the drone, or we'll call it home. All right?
Okay.
So let's start with a note that is somewhere close to our speaking voice. So something that's very easy to sing and to keep going. And just like the humming, you can sing it for as long as you have a breath, and when you need to take a breath, inhale, and then continue.
Okay.
When the partner comes back to the home, the other one can go.
Okay.
Okay. Because please find a note that's comfortable.
Okay.
Let's give it a little bit of an open sound. It doesn't have to be big, but just a little bit of an open sound so we can really hear each other.
Okay.
I'll go first. Okay, I'm gonna go again.
Okay.
Let's do one more.
Okay.
It's kind of fun to think about why we laugh, right?
Uh-huh.
So what's happening that is
Well,
creating laughter?
Yeah, I realized I was kind of in my head and I thought, okay, well, I did that wrong because I'm supposed to go up, but it's getting a little high. So I went down and then started to think about it. And it just made me laugh because I was aware of like, this probably doesn't sound good, but that's okay.
And these exercises are not so much about sounding good. But
Right.
what does it feel like to be at the different steps of the intervals? And what I heard was there was a listening for what comes next, and that's what we were going to do as part of this. So let's go there next.
Okay.
Listening for what comes next is a very beautiful invitation to a process of listening for what the music invites next. And you and I have similar music libraries that we're pulling from, right? Within us, because of the similar genres of music that we've spent time in. And maybe we've listened to other types of music as well. So the idea is, what do I hear that comes next? And you already started that process, which is ultimately improvisation. And learning to follow the music as a guide.
Right. Okay.
And that ultimately, we are in our heads on some level because we are listening for something. But when we start to let go of what's supposed to be happening, and we open up to surprise for what we hear, and then we try to sing that, this is the creative process that we're in. And there's no way to do it wrong.
Good.
Because we're just making it up. And we're developing something within ourselves and then with each other. So let's try a next step of that, and where we're focusing on, we're noticing the ways that the different notes in the harmonies that we're making feel.
Okay.
And sometimes it's feeling of a vibration, sometimes it's feeling of emotion, sometimes it's colors, sometimes it's memories, sometimes a whole song will come up because I know this, I've sung this harmony before. Sometimes it's quite uncomfortable because it's close. It's a passing tone, for instance. It's something that is like, oh, I don't really think this is right, so I'm going to move on to the next one that feels more correct. But there's no right or wrong here. We are just moving through space and noticing what we notice. Okay. So we'll stay in a similar kind of way, thinking about moving to notes that have a harmony, a specific harmony. So let's kind of stay in that idea of just one time through, doing that again, of moving to what note do you want to try next? What note do you hear next that you want to feel? And we'll keep the same style of someone holding that one note while the other person moves. All right, let's try that, and we'll know that we're done because when we come back to the home.
Okay.
Let's pick it can be the same note or a different note, and I'll go first.
Okay.
Great. So that's different. I felt a different level of comfort, curiosity.
Yeah, I did too. I think taking your lead helps because I sensed you were more free with it, so I felt a little more free with it too.
Great. Okay, let's do it. There's different ways to play this game, but I'm feeling really comfortable in a supportive place by holding the drone and the other moving. So let's stay with that for this next round.
Okay.
We'll do it again, same as before, and continuing to listen for what comes next. So you can take a moment while you're singing one note and listen for what's coming up next. What's next? All right.
Okay.
Let's start together in unison. Okay, one more. One more. And this time, I'm going to invite us to listen to each other and finish the phrase. So I'll start something and invite you to finish the phrase. And my one question is, do you want to keep the drone going? Or do you want to just try to do it without the drone?
Oh, maybe try without the drone.
Okay, let's try. So I'll start a phrase, you hear it,
Okay.
and it might be that you sing the same thing back. That might be what you hear or repeat, or you might hear what comes next, something
Okay.
different. So let's try. There's
Okay.
no wrong. There's no wrong. We're just making it up.
Promise? Okay.
I promise. I promise.
Okay.
And it will be interesting to see, to notice what we hear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do this when it's time, when I hear the ending.
Okay.
And you can do that too if you hear the ending.
Okay.
It will be more clear as we go through. All right, I'll start.
Hey. Oh.
That's what I heard. What
Yes.
what you just sang is what I heard coming next.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're in the zone.
We are. So you see, you can begin to experience how our music libraries within us are informing what comes next.
Yes.
And then from there we can also make choices. Like, wow, that's what I hear. You know, anyway, you can imagine like the whole way that this can begin to open up spaces for us, musical spaces. Let's try again. Let's try again.
Okay. Okay.
Oh le le, nene, oh le le.
La 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 la, oh la 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 la.
Oh la la, oh la la.
Oh la 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 la.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh,
oh.
There we go.
Cool. That's really fun, actually.
So then things begin to open up in our partnership. You know, as we explore these different territories, and sometimes you really want to record it because it's like, oh, I want to write a song around that.
Right.
All right, let's play with just one more partner game, because we've been working in long tones and harmonies and melodies now, and I want to just give us a chance to play also in rhythm.
Okay.
Right, so rhythm is a fun way to do this, and this particular one is a game that I learned from Lisa Sokoloff, whose work is called embodied voice work. And so I think about two fence posts, and I'm going to use my hands to help me keep in time, and we'll do this together if Zoom allows us to.
Yeah.
Don't, and we'll do something similar, just simple, like don't, 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 don't. Don't, and that's our drone. That's our
Okay.
home. And then we'll play around as if we're dancing around the fence posts. So while you hold this while I dance around, and then I'll come back to hold the fence posts, and then you can dance around, and we'll do it 3 times.
Okay.
Don't, tick it. Tick it do, duck 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 duck, tick it do, tick it duck do 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 Dum pa da dum pa da dum pa da dum pa da dum 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 pa dum pa dum pa dum pa dum 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 pa da 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 dum dum pa da 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 dum da da dum da da dum 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 And now get ready and stop. So that also builds our vocabulary, or builds our vocabulary of rhythm, sounds, and beatboxing, and all the different ways that we can play within rhythm. This is a beautiful opportunity to play there. I've often used this one also with the alphabet, or learning a language, different phrases, and someone holds a steady pulse like that. And there's so many ways we can play in there.
Yeah, that was fun. It felt more out of my comfort than like a melody. I don't know. That was interesting that I thought, oh, feels like harder for me for some reason. And I don't know why, but it's interesting to just notice like what came up. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure about this.
Right.
So just information, you know.
It's true. And I think this is one of the reasons I love this type of work of vocal improvisation, of just taking some different ways of being in music, different elements of music, and spending some time there. Because it's a way to work through certain things that may be challenging,
Right.
may be uncomfortable, may be difficult, but it's just play. And so then this work that we do here tends to then generalize out to other areas of our lives. One of the things we did earlier was, in moving through the different intervals, sometimes we're in this place of real dissonance, or we're playing in and out of time. And all of these musical experiences, which we can learn to tolerate because we're playing in music, makes sense and come up in my world when I'm dealing with emotions that feel uncomfortable. And a lot of the time, the emotions that feel uncomfortable remind me of something that happened in the music that felt uncomfortable. I know that I worked through that, or I played through that discomfort in the music, and I believe that I can also work through that, play through that in the emotional realm.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah. Really powerful.
And one more thing I'll just mention is a groove would be taking a simple melody pattern within a simple rhythm, and that's then becomes the home base for different levels of further improvisation and partner work, or group work as well. And like a lot of the work that Bobby McFerrin is doing is creating grooves, right? So that people can dance and play and sing within that groove. And that gives more structure. It'll set up a particular scale or a style of music, and then you want to dance around and sing around within. But so there's layers and layers of how we can play in this world. Yeah. Another place which is very common throughout the world is chant, singing a chant. And we might have just a simple mantra. We might have a mantra or a phrase that we repeat over and over again, give it a bit of a melody, And that's the basics of a chant. And it's very similar to what we find in the world of lullaby. Why lullabies work. Simple phrase, repeats, no surprises, the steady rhythm of it, the vibration of the voice inside the body. We always, if we're lulling a child or a pet to sleep, or an adult, we often bring them here. And if you put your hands here right now, even as we hum or speak, we can feel the vibration of the voice right there. Like that's what we did that's what we did in the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
This is soothing. This settles the nervous system. And as we sing in a steady way, the exhale extends, the heart rate slows down, the mind gets the message from the body that there is no danger. And the whole system down, the nervous system can downregulate.
Right.
So that's what we can do with the chant. The other thing about chant, as we said about words, is they have symbolic aspect. And so we can bring ourselves to a place. So for instance, I wrote this simple chant. I wrote this chant at the ocean, in this place where there was obviously salt water from the ocean, and then another stream of water was coming from the land. So it was clean water coming together to mix with salt water. The wind was blowing, and waves were being made. So I wrote and sang this in the moment about what was going on, and now I continue to sing this, and I very quickly can return in my mind to this place in nature. So I'll tell you the words first.
Okay.
Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, making waves, making waves.
Okay, love it.
I'll sing it a couple of times, and when you feel like you can join, just join in, and we'll do this for a few times. And I'm actually going to be thinking in this way. I want to sing it until I feel something shift inside. So that's what I'm listening for, a shift inside. So I'll begin, and as I said, listen first. Maybe you can hum along, and then when you feel comfortable, join me.
Okay.
Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, making waves, making waves. Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, making waves, making waves. Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, making waves, making waves. Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, making waves, making waves. Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, making waves, making waves. Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, making waves, making waves. Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, making waves, making waves. Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, one more. Feel how the wind blows, watching where the water flows, everywhere that nature goes, making waves, 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 making waves. Notice what you notice. This moment after the singing, the silence after the singing, often the music continues. This is an actual experience, an actual practice called audiation. To just hear the music and notice what we notice.
I've never heard of that before. That's really interesting. Okay.
So how was that?
Oh, it felt great. I mean, yeah, because I feel so, there's like such a nice container that's being held. I feel very connected and safe that I really could have just gone. I mean, it just feels so good to sing with someone else and to have the freedom to go and to feel, I don't know, I mean, the word safe keeps coming up, but, and free, there's like such freedom with singing. So it felt amazing. I mean, I could just keep doing this. You know, once I start singing, I don't know about you, I just want to sing all day. It's so hard for me to like cut it off. So, yeah, really beautiful experience. Yeah.
I'm glad. That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have one more
Okay.
one more thing to play around in. Often in our Western music culture, the time signature is the waltz, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or a variation on that, which is 6. So there's 3 and 6. There's 4 and 8.
Mhm.
And our culture doesn't do a lot with 5 or 7 or 9 or 11 or 13, but other cultures do. They spend a lot of time there. And usually it's the children that are dancing and playing, finding different ways around different time signatures. But for me and in my training, 5 and 7 can be challenging. So I play around in them as a way of creating more familiarity. And also it works as a meditation because I have to really think about it.
Uh-huh.
And I can't, I have to close, like I have to allow the busyness of my active mind to step aside so that I can really focus on 5.
Uh-huh.
And I also use numbers to help me learn this, and I use my hands. My hands have 5 fingers. I know not everyone's do, but I have 5 fingers, so I use my fingers also to keep me in time, in 5, so that I can let go of counting.
Okay.
Over time. So, and then the other thing that I added was words and then melody. So we can start with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yes, I can do it. 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 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can breathe. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. One more. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Right, Taylor, take a moment. Take a moment. Notice what you notice. Listening. Noticing the sensations in and around the body. Noticing the heartbeat. Noticing how the body opens to receive the breath. Noticing the activity level of the mind. Noticing emotion. And noticing social connection. All right, so that's our practice for today. We started with some gentle shakes and bounces, a breathing exercise with humming. Then we did some partner work, holding the drone and playing around and then switching. And we played with what comes next, listening for what comes next. We played with some rhythm. We sang a chant and putting ourselves in nature with our imagination. And then we just ended with a rhythm pattern. And I often end with rhythm very specifically, especially with groups, especially with children, because it helps them to come back and organize again. We can sort of get into a non-linear place, which is beautiful and flowy and expansive. But then in order to get back into our lives, to come back to some rhythm that connects us back to our bodies and to the ground is super helpful, practical.
Yes, and I felt that so happen because I was sort of out there and then I had to come back to live on earth, to be grounded and keep going on with my day. So that makes perfect sense and I could feel it happen.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
works. It works with connecting the rhythm in the body,
Uh-huh.
someplace, with numbers, with counting,
Mhm.
with language, and with melody, and you extended it with some beautiful harmony and counterpoint. Yeah.
Well, thank you
So that's
so
our.
much. This
Yeah,
was
you're
this
welcome.
was
You're welcome.
wonderful and fun. It was just really fun. So thank you, Kate. Really, really meaningful.
I'm glad.
Now, thank you for that, Kate, in partnering with Bridget to illustrate for our audience what is voice work. The first thing that comes to me in that, I love the progression of the session from first introduction to grounding and orienting, then partner work, then chanting, and then a closure with rhythmic grounding. But I would imagine many people in our audience, the idea of the inherent vulnerability of singing would come up. So can you first speak to the thought about the idea of unveiling the vulnerability of singing and how to contend with that?
It's why we always start with a body-centered approach, bringing the voice into the body, an internal experience of movement, trying to release some of the physical stress that we're carrying, and a focus inward to address right away. What is it that I need? What can I do to respond to the stress that I feel, which could then be translated into vulnerability, right? That could be the story that I tell about the stress that I feel in this environment. And so down regulating, using tools that I know can down regulate the nervous system is always how we start. And a connection to the senses, orienting to the five senses, physical vibration of the voice in the body, all of that brings structure and focus inward to try to resource this very practical aspect of here I am in this body, in this room, here's the music already working. And that's the initial stage of entering the group. I never start with, let's tell everybody our name, or like, I don't like to do that. I jump right into the music and let the music do the work of helping us to adapt to the environment that we're in.
You know, in your work with Bridget, I saw progression, working up to a full song, and then sort of a down regulating, as you said. How does the voice help us explore as we explore different vocal tones and intonations? How does that help us explore different parts of our identity?
I think again, it's the listening that is essential. If we consider the musical activity as a playing field that can be translated into other aspects, psychological, emotional, physical, symbolic, just going with the focus of what we can know right now is the primary focus. And as we listen and notice what's happening internally, the body will give out clues on where to feel the vibration in the body. So right now, I went right to where I can already, just in my speaking voice, I can feel it right here. And now I'm also noticing there's something over here that I'm feeling. So I could, if I listen, then I can then go and make a sound, see if I can make a sound that vibrates there. And then I begin an internal dialogue with myself, with my body, and my mind about what's happening and what do I need. And I think that's the beginning of this shift, opening up the relationship and the awareness of self, for then the music to find its way. And as we do this as a regular practice, we become more familiar. These kinds of activities go faster or go more in depth because we become more aware. And then it leads to the next more relating kind of ways. Like we'll do it first the self, then the whole group, then individually one-on-one, and then, but still in the music, and then language perhaps would come next, because some people are actually more comfortable with language than with not language. So again, it's customizing it to who's there and what their body and mind is telling them that they need, that they're ready for.
In addition to the vocal journey that you went on with Bridget, I'm also affected by the songwriting. So the only way that I can get through it, the piece this audience will hear at the end, Yes, I Can Do It, and the Chant, which was a song that you wrote when you went to visit the ocean. So I wanted to hear about that as well, because I think that's powerful for people to take their daily experiences and play with lyric and then put it to sound. Can you say something about that?
Sure, it's definitely something that I work on. I mean, I spend time with it, and the longer that I have done it, the more fun it is, the less I judge it, the more again, the curiosity is really the key. What surprises me? Well, this, someone just said this phrase, and now I'm thinking how they said that phrase, and it's sticking with me. Oh, I'm going to remember that one. I'm going to try to do something. I'm going to play with that within the elements of music. That's the very, very essence of it. I used to think that improvisation was scat singing in jazz. That was like the whole thing, and there's a right way to do it. There's a real language. People are good at it or they're not good at it. And I lived in that world for quite a long time until I learned about clinical improvisation through Alan Turry and learning about, actually just let's make music with what's happening, what the person is doing, what the sound of their voice is, what their movement is, what their expression is. So then that changed everything. So I now learn about improvisation with people in relationship, not just improvisation in music. So that said, I began to be very interested and curious about the musicality of different aspects. And one game we played in a workshop with Rhiannon was that the homework assignment was to go find a poem and put it to music. So then that developed this whole idea, and what I've found to be very, very teachable, this exercise. Reading a poem, just one line of a poem, and listening for the music already inherent in the way that we say it. And then if we extend that just a little bit more, then what other musical possibilities are there? And my one of the poems that I did that for is a poem by Rumi. And I'll just give you one little element of it. There is a field. I'll meet you there. So I started playing with there is a field. There is a field. There is a field. Right, so then I wanted it to be big because I was imagining the field as being big, large, vast. There is a field, there is a field, I'll meet you there. And so that's how it begins. And then the more I listen, the more I trust the music, the more I trust myself and my ideas. Oh yeah, that's good enough. I think I'll do what Maggie did. I'll go to my phone. I'm gonna sing this into my phone so that I can remember it, right? And then it just develops like that. The trust that happens through a regular practice is so essential. And talk about process. There's a wonderful TED Talk by an artist named Will Hewitt. And he started this practice of singing. I think his was 15 minutes a day, sing 15. And he did it every day, and he had a whole multimedia process that he went through. And that's what gave me the idea of the Sing 21, because I'm thinking 21 because I have a theory that if I sing for 21 minutes, then something changes. And that's kind of based in meditation as well. There's a sense of that meditating for 20 or 21 minutes is that's when something really shifts. So anyway, but Will Hewitt was the one who really taught me, like, oh, yeah, if I really do this every day or on a regular basis, then I will begin to trust what I hear. I'll begin to trust myself. And so that's part of how the songwriting began, so that I'm driving to work and an idea comes up. I also trust that the musical idea, even if I forget about it, is somehow helping me to process the idea, the challenge, the emotion that I'm going through. That all by itself is enough. But if it's a really good idea, then I want to sing it into my phone, because maybe I can create the seed. Maybe it's the seed of a song that can become a chant, that can become something that I share out. And that is what the only way that I can get through it is from. And I have the voice memo of that when I was singing it in the car on the way to work.
Yeah, I mean, this is so meaningful for me to hear this, because I can imagine when you do the work with vocal improvisation, with Urban Voices Project, that it is a portal to possibility. What is the impact of knowing that that space is always there for you?
That's a really meaningful question. I've talked about this a little bit with other groups. Maybe I've told you about Lumos Transforms. This is a really powerful group that I want you to know about, and they have the Resilience Toolkit. And recently I was in a conversation and we were talking about, well, I have all these tools and I know that they work, but I don't always use them. So your question is inviting me to also say, okay, so I know this works, and still sometimes I don't use it. And so what is the potential? What's the possibility that I can allow of myself to looking at my own resistance to doing what I know is meaningful and valuable? There might be some good reason not to do it. However, I just want to share that vulnerability, that vulnerable place in me that I don't always do what I know will help me through. And because I know that I'm not alone in that, I just usually like to say those things out. But the potential is that a daily practice, no matter what it is that I choose to pull from, I think is essential, especially when I have put myself into a position, a role in the community where people are looking to me for stability, for flexibility, to be a role model. Then I do think that I have a commitment. I need to make a commitment on a daily basis to what is it that I can do to stay on my path, my own creative, artistic path, so that, again, so that I can be able to access as quickly as possible my authentic self, which has spent all of these years preparing for this moment. So that was a really important question, and I am grateful for it. Thank you.
So now, in summary, to bring it all together, what do you see as one of the leaders in the work of community singing? What is the future direction and potential growth in the work of this type of work around the world? Choral work, singing, work that of the Urban Voices Project.
I mentioned before about the Arts and Health Initiative, and what's happening in this movement, also in social prescribing, in these areas where we're starting to not just see and acknowledge, but show the data of how essential this is. It's a return. Right? It's a return to something that we've known in society to be of value, to gather as a community through music and art and in nature, with rhythm and dance and singing. We know this as human beings, but our society does not support it. However, when we lose everything, as is what happens in a disaster, I think it's essential for us to find those places in ourselves where we have the structure already, we've already developed it, to either hold a pulse, to hold a beat, to speak a truth, to carry a simple melody or sing out a cry, to access that art within us, especially where we are experienced, especially where we are strong, and bring that to the community. Finding ways that are natural and easy, simple, accessible, and then trust each other to let it grow from those basic roots. I think one of the key elements here is to be able to look inside and listen. What do I know? What am I bringing? What is that song that I sing to myself to get through my hard times? The unimaginable. Where do I go? What do I do? And bring that structure forward through the arts to share it with others. Because it will work. It works for me, it will work for you. And I'm stressing this in a way of trying to access those places where we are already resourced. What are our inner resources? It's very common for people to say, oh, if I'm going to work in this challenging situation, I better go get some other skills and learn how to do something I've never done before. And people tend to be very afraid. And it's hard to lead and it's hard to facilitate big emotions when we're someplace that we don't feel grounded. And so what I love about the work that I do is that even if I feel overwhelmed or I notice, this is a lot, this is going to be challenging, I know where to go. And I know what to share with you, where to go. To just find something that everyone can do. And recognize that my art form is going to be the music. Right? So I'm going to go and find something that everyone can participate in. And I'm going to keep it simple. And I'm going to listen for the music that's already there. And let the wisdom of the group, which always exists, reveal itself. And then I have to take what I know about music, and help to gently facilitate it or clearly facilitate it. That's the key. Trust the music. For me, the music. For others, it will be some will be dance, some will be visual arts, some will be poetry, some will be theater. But start with what you know. Start with what I know and bring that in. And believe and trust the music. Believe and trust the power of community. Those are really the key things, and I really do believe everyone can do it. And this idea that's happening in this initiative of arts and health is also looking at the key elements that are needed, the soft skills and the practical skills for teaching artists to facilitate groups with folks that are dealing with some vulnerability. Some will be a lot, some will be a little, some will be hard to detect. But there's a we say vulnerable populations, right? So there, in the people that are going to be watching this, you are working with a vulnerable population. Something has been taken away.
I also
People
want to know
that they need, right? Yeah.
I also want to note on you're also connected to international efforts.
Yes.
In blogging. Can you say a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Arts and Homelessness International is an incredible organization. It's based in London, and it spans the globe, and they are working together with other organizations. January will be the next summit where people are addressing homelessness and the needs of people that are living in the condition of homelessness through the arts, all different disciplines. And I was at the very first summit in 2018 in England, and now this in January will be the third summit, and I plan to go and I plan to work together with others to develop more clearly the facilitator training programs based on what's already working in the organizations that are providing meaningful engaging arts activities around the world.
Am I correct to also understand that Urban Voices Project will also have a training if people in the listening audience are interested in reaching out?
We're in the development of the curriculum right now, and yes, this is the next big step with any kind of organization like ours. The only way to expand is to train more people to do the actual workshops. So that's what we are in a process of doing right now.
So if people are interested in reaching out, would they just reach out to the website? Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Kate, what is the legacy of Urban Voices Project?
Well, we talk sometimes about what would we like to see in 50 years. Ultimately, we would like to see an end to homelessness, so that's not what we are addressing. But the ultimate aspect is this ability to connect through music, through singing, to amplify artistry, to promote practical accessible ways to manage our well-being, and ultimately with art in support of self-expression, the idea that people become their own best advocates for whatever it is that they need, on a social policy level, on a physical needs level, all of the ways that people can become their own best advocate for what they need. So I know that our vision is that homelessness will no longer be the crisis that it is, but that the music and the singing and the ways of engaging in community through singing will always have a place.
Thank you, Kate. Kate, I also want to say something about the legacy of your work. Your capacity for listening and presence is something to behold. And your vocal methodology has opened a canvas of compassion, hope, and respect. You are a humble steward of the voice, and I thank you for your work.
Thank you so much. Yes, I can do it, yes, I can do it, yes, I can do it, yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can.